Hello. Where's my coffee?
Over there.
All right. Hi, everyone. I was having a little bit of a technical difficulty because oh, let me lower this. Okay, my tripod thingy for my phone broke. So I was trying to rig up another one. And that wasn't working, so I had to find another one. All right. So today we are going to paint this as voted on by you guys. And I didn't specifically state what colors that you'll need because you guys can basically use any colors that you want. For this one, I used 3 colors, a blue, a purple, and a green. And so yeah, you don't really, you can use whatever colors you want. A galaxy color, a non-galaxy color, that's completely up to you. So we're gonna get started. How is everyone today? All right, let me see where I'm running out of space on my desk here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is do a really rough sketch of the cup. Oh, Rachel, you're exhausted? Yeah, I'm kind of tired too. It's been a long day. And it's only, what, 3 o'clock? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, so we're going to be doing this for all of you that just joined me. So the first thing we are going to do is sketch out the cup. And I'm going to sketch it out a little darker than I usually would. So when you sketch out your cup, just do it light, but I'm doing it darker so that everyone can actually see the pencil lines. But you're not going to do it that way. You're going to do it a little bit lighter. It's only noon and it's already been a long week, I know. It's been a long week, period. I was just like, is this like the never-ending week? All right, so I'm in a very awkward position because I'm standing up. Hi, Carrie. But we are going to sketch out the cup real quick. And this is actually a really, really quick little tutorial. This only took me about 15, 20 minutes. So it's very simple and it's very loose. So you can actually apply this to basically anything. It doesn't have to be in a cup. But I did this for Laura. It was having, and she actually continues to have a little doodle challenge, the Nonsense Doodle Club. And one of them was magic coffee. So that's why I picked this. The minute I saw magic coffee, I was like, oh, that's like a galaxy in a cup. That's what I thought. So can you see the pencil lines? Yeah, you can see the pencil lines. So when you sketch yours out, obviously you're going to do it a little bit lighter because the cup is supposed to be white for me. So you really don't want a lot of pencil lines showing through. But obviously I have it so that you can see it. I can never get both sides of my cup to match. So bear with me here. And if it doesn't match, that's okay. All right, so that is the basic shape of your cup. And we are going to draw the rim here. And then I'm going to draw the back pretty light because I don't want that to show through my galaxy. All right. So there's your basic shape. It's a little bit wonky, but that's okay. And now we are going to draw the handle, which is, let me have that drawing, which is a C. A C with with a longer bottom part to it. So a C, a backward C. We're going to say it's a backward C. And then you elongate the bottom of it. Hi, XX Nulia. We're just going to call you Nulia. And then round it out a little. And that's it for your sketch. That is a long handle. That's okay. All right. So, as you can see here, for the cup, the only thing I did was, so I'm going to wet the entire thing. We're going to be working wet on wet with a cup. And the only thing I did was add color along the edges. I used lamp black and add colors along the edges and let it bleed into the cup. So that just gives it like the illusion of like a shadow along the cup. But we're going to let it bleed in. So we're going to wet the entire cup. So that's what we're going to do now. And right now we're only working on the inside of it.
You sound kind of sniffly. You okay?
Do I sound kind of sniffly? I'm always sniffly because I always have like a stuffy nose.
Right, that's why you're always dying.
I'm always dying. It's my allergies. So we are wetting the inside.
You're
And
burying it?
my water is, I didn't change my water out. I was swatching out the fairy tale series so that I could have it all in one place. A couple of you sent me a message after I opened custom order stating that you wanted to see swatches of my paints. So that's what I was doing. So there's glitter in my swatch now. There's glitter in my water. All right. So right now, all we're doing is just the inside. And then we are going to add some lamp black along the edges and let that bleed in. Who's following along with me today? I know we always have a couple of people who paint along with me, and then some of you just save the painting until you rewatch. So if you're painting along with me, let me know. All right, so here we have some lamp black, and I am watering it down quite a bit because I don't want it very dark. So we are watering it down so I get like a really light gray color. And for those of you who, hi Danielle, for those of you who won't be able to watch it within 24 hours, I am definitely saving this one and putting it on my YouTube channel. And you can find my YouTube by going to my bio or my profile and looking at it there, or following that link there. All right, so we're adding a little bit of lamp black. Actually, I think I'm going to mix a little bit of blue into that black because I don't want it so stark. All right, so I'm adding a little bit of blue into the black. And we are just putting it along the edges. And clean off your brush. I'm using watercolor, Mackenzie. I don't work in acrylic. I only ever work in watercolor. And you can, if your paint is not spreading like this one I think because I mixed it in with the blue, it's not spreading as much. Just clean off your brush and pull a little bit of that into the middle. Make sure that you leave a lot of white space. Don't pull too much in. Okay. There's that. You're welcome, Mackenzie. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the handle. So we're not going to touch this anymore. You're just going to leave it like that because we just want like a little shadow. And we're going to do the same thing with the handle. And it's okay if it bleeds in from the inside of the cup. So wet the handle. and pick up some of that paint and then do the same thing. Just add a little bit along. For this one, we're going to add a touch more on the bottom and on the top than in the middle. And wash off your brush. My brush is full of glitter now. And blend that in just a little bit. Okay. There you go with that. So I normally just let it dry on its own, but I'm going to blow dry it now so that we can work on the galaxy. So when you're working on the galaxy, you want to make sure that the bottom is completely dry. Otherwise, the colors that you use up here are going to bleed into the cup. So remember that the color is always going to go where the water goes. So you want to make sure that anything you don't want to have any other color is completely dry. So let me grab my blow dryer. And if you have any questions on the process along the way, feel free to ask. All right. And if there's anyone here who is new to watercolor, you'll notice that the paint dries a lot lighter than when you actually put it on the paper. So that's the case with almost any color. I'm going to bring this up so that you can see. I was working, I don't know if you can actually see it, but I was working with glitter, and there's now glitter all over the bottom of my cup. But I guess it makes it a little bit more magical. All right, so the next part, I'm going to go with a bigger brush. So I was using, where's my brush that I was using? I don't even know where I put it. Okay. So I was using a size 7 round brush. And now I am moving up to a size 10 so that I could cover more area. So the next part is the top, or where the galaxy comes out. So the next part is going to be this part. Okay. And this one is like the fun part. So you don't have to be as precise with this part as you had to be with the cup. So with the cups, you had to like paint in the lines and all of that good stuff. And with this, you don't have to be. So here's my water. What I do is I brush off my water off of my brush. You see all the glitter or the shimmer. So this is what I usually do. With this, I'm just going to dip it in and use it with a really like dripping wet brush. And I am just going to start adding it all over the paper. So you want to add it along the edge of the cup so that it actually looks like it's coming out of the cup. And then go crazy with the water. Just add it everywhere. And you're going to even be adding it in places where the paint is not going to touch, but that's going to give it a nicer flow. So just saturate your paper with water everywhere on top. All right. So what's going to happen when you lay the color down is that it's going to feather out. And it's going to keep feathering out until the edge of the water. So if you see here, the water stopped here, so it didn't feather out as much. But over here it did.
What does that mean?
And that's the kind of look that you're going for. Look over here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hello, shopping via USA. Okay, so you want to put water in a bigger area than you're going to be putting your paint in a larger area. So obviously I'm not going to paint all the way up here, but I'm just going to let the paint flow out there. So that's why I put water in a larger area. All right, so let's see what colors I'm going to use. I think I'm just going to use my regular go-to colors that I use in almost everything, in almost all of my galaxies. And for those of you who follow me, you already know which colors these are. Bright Clear Violet, Viridian, and Peacock Blue. And those are all by Magello Mission Gold. This is the Magello palette. And I got it on Amazon for like $10. And all of these are different paints. So I have Daniel Smith, M. Graham, Magello Mission Gold, Sennelier. I have a bunch of them. All right, so let's make sure that my paper didn't dry. If you are using non-cotton paper, you're going to have to keep adding water around the edges because that dries a lot faster than cotton paper. If you're using cotton paper, you're not really going to have much of a drying problem. So here we are just going to start adding color. So for those of you who have taken my Galaxy class on Skillshare or who have seen me paint galaxies, you know it's all about just laying your color down and letting it do its thing, letting it blend on its own, letting it just kind of take its own course. Hi, Haley. So I'm adding and mixing in a few different shades of those same three colors. So again, I'm using Bright Clear Violet, Viridian, and Peacock Blue. And I am just adding them in at random. And just kind of letting it do its own thing. So if you want a lot, like a larger area, then you keep adding all across for as large of an area as you want. Otherwise, you can stop wherever you want. I like to push colors into each other. So you're going to see a lot of my colors overlapping. And there we go. And this one's going to be like a really colorful one. Let's add a little bit more blue here. So honestly, it's just about like tipping your colors in and just adding them. I like to have really dark spots of color. So I saturate my brush with the blue. And I'm going to, and it's the same blue. I'm not adding a darker blue. I'm just going to add little pops of it here and there. And as you can already see, it's already beginning to feather out on its own. I'm going to leave the edges as is. If you wanted to help it along, you can by cleaning your brush off and then just adding a little bit more water along the edges. But I'm really not going to do that. I'm just going to let it kind of do its own thing. Let's add a little bit of purple up here. Thank you, Haley. And just let it disperse on its own. And by doing that, the more water on your paper, the more you'll get that effect. So by doing that, it's going to give you these really soft feathered edges. Just leave it on its own. The key to this is you don't want to dry it with a hairdryer. You just want to let it kind of like do its own thing. So that's what we're going to do here. I think I'll take this a little bit higher. This piece right here. There. And then leave it alone. So while that's drying, if you have any questions, now is the time to ask, because I don't want to do too much to this. You're welcome, Rachel. Let me define these edges a little bit more. There we go. So you see it's going to continue spreading on its own until either the paper dries or the paint starts to dry. There we go. So the minute that you start drying it, then you're going to stop that feathering process. So you can start If you're happy with the way that it looks now, you can go ahead and dry it with a blow dryer. If you want it to continue feathering, you can just leave it like that. I wish I could. Oh, thank you. What do you paint when you're in an artistic rut? Well, when I am in an artistic rut, I go to Skillshare, because usually I don't know what to paint, and I'm just like, maybe it's time to try something new. So that's actually how my interest in florals came about, because I was tired of making galaxies and landscapes, and I didn't know what else to do, and I didn't feel like painting. So I went to Skillshare and started taking a couple of classes, and that really helped push me out of that. Do I know which brush is cruelty free? I can give you a few. Any of the ones that are synthetic are cruelty free. These from Craftimo, which I absolutely love. These are some of my favorite brushes now, and they hold the tip really well. These are all cruelty free. These come in a set of a lot, like 8 or 9, for about $15 on Amazon, and they are now going to start selling them separately. So when you buy the set, you get a bunch of flat brushes as well, and I don't really use flat brushes. And then my other favorite are the Princeton Select, and these are all synthetic brushes as well. No animal hair whatsoever. Is it a tube of watercolor or a palette that you add water to? I'm not sure I understand. I can tell you that all of these here are tube paints that I squeezed out onto my palette and I let them dry. So to reactivate them, you use water to reactivate them. So is that what you're asking? I think it is. All right. So, hi, Allie. I really like the way this feathering looks right now. You can continue to let yours feather out for as long as possible if you let it dry out naturally, but we'll be here for like the next hour if I continue to just let it dry. So I'm going to dry this with a hairdryer so that I can show you how to add the stars and all of that. Allie. And as I said earlier with the cup, it's going to dry. So it looks really bright and vibrant now, but it may dry a little lighter than it looks. Although I did put a lot of color on it, a lot of paint on it. So it might not dry that much lighter, but it will dry a little bit lighter. And for all you letterers out there, like, Haley and Allie, if you do this, write something cute and happy on the cup. But I will not, because I am not that good with it. All right, so you see it stopped the feathering. The minute you start drying it, like, that action stops. But again, if you want to keep it going, just let it dry on its own. All right, the next step is to add the stars. So you can add them a couple of ways. You can do it with a brush, do it with a toothbrush, or just kind of like do it manually. So I use opaque. Oh, my nails are full of full of paint. But I use Copic Opaque White. You can use that. You can use Dr. P.H. Martin White. You can use white gouache. Whatever you want. Whatever you have available. It's like an opaque watercolor. Or you can just use white watercolor if you have. I know a lot of sets that you buy, pan sets, come with white watercolor.
You're driving me crazy with all my questions.
No, you're not driving me crazy. Okay, so this is what the opaque white looks like inside. And you can do one of two things. You can dip it in with a wet brush, dip it in there, and then go like this, right? That's the official sound of it. Or you can take a toothbrush, dip it in water, dip it in, and then do this. That's a little messier because literally the spots get everywhere, but it gives you like more disbursement than with a brush. Or you can take a pen, and I use the Uniball, here we go, Uniball Signal White, and manually dot in. Or you could do a combination of two. So I'm going to do a combination of both of those. So what I'm going to do is do the brush thingy thing, the brush snapping together. And if it gets on the cup, that's okay. Okay. So there are my big white stars. If it gets on your cup and you don't want it, you can just lift it up a little with a clean paper towel. But your cup is like basically white, so it shouldn't matter too much. And so you'll notice that my splotches are a lot bigger. If you use the toothbrush, you'll get a really fine spray of paint or of ink. And if you know, that's also a very good look. So I'm just lifting up some of that white. And I am also going to go in with my white pen and add some where there are some spaces and some holes. All right. So that's, oh, let's add like a big shiny star somewhere. What I usually do is I'll take these big splotches and turn that into a big shiny star, but I have to wait for that to dry. So I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to make my own big splotch with a pen. So there we go. And it is literally just a cross that you do. The key to that is to kind of lift your pen up when you're getting towards the end so that you can have a finer line at the end. If you keep your pen down and drag it up, you're going to have a very thick line. And you don't want that. You want it to taper a little. So there's one. Let's add another one somewhere around here. I'm going to turn my paper. And let's add one here. All right. And there you go. You have your magic coffee. Super, super easy. Aw, thank you, Rachel. You're the sweetest. So, yeah, there you go. And then you just let that dry and you take a picture and you're good to go. Oh, no, you know what? We're not good to go. We forgot to add the shadow on the cup. So let's, yeah, right? Oh, what was I thinking?
Seriously.
So, I mean, you could leave it like that. But if you wanted to give it the illusion that it's like sitting on something, then just add a little bit of shadow. And we're going to do the same thing that we did here with a really, really, really watered down blue or black. So I'm going to take that little water down. And it's going to be so light that you can't even see it. And and we're going to do a little bit of shadow here. We're watering that down a bit. And then for the handle. And there we go. Once that shadow dries, you will hardly even be able to see it. Actually, I don't really like that too much. Let me water this down a little. I fuss around with my paintings a lot. There we go. I like that better.
Oh, babe.
I know. I fuss and fuss and fuss. All right, let me just dry this. Hello, my drawing life. All right. All right, that's almost dried. But you can see that it lightens up quite a bit. And that's it. There is your magic coffee. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I can have a drink of that right now. So, if you don't have, can I show you my journal? Sure. I'll show it to you. But I am going to preface this by saying that this journal is a mess. It's not a pretty, ready-made, like, journal. First of all, I started this journal upside down in the back. And it's a Blue Pine Arch journal. And when I opened it, I was just so excited. I was like, oh, let me just start painting. And then I was like, oh, wait, I started it backwards and upside down. So it's going to be a little haphazard. All right, so here's some things. So I started off with the intention of this being like a really pretty journal that's going to have like complete drawings in it and paintings. And that's not how it turned out. So this was my first picture in this journal. And I really love this one. I was practicing roses with that one. And then we have, oh, well, let's turn it around again. A little galaxy with mountains. And I was testing out some of my new Sprout Creative colors on this. And then here is a practice that I was doing out of Ana Victoria Calderon's new, well, it's not new, her watercolor book on creative watercolor. So this has like a lot of shimmer and shine. Yeah, it is very much like a sketchbook. Here is part of our lettering, what was it, a lettering challenge? It was one of our Christmas challenges with the Winter Wonderland collection. So that was this. And then there are a bunch of skipped pages. Oh, wait, no. Here is a class that I took when I was in one of my little slumps. So I took Vidi's Limitless Art Vidi's class on florals. So that's that. And here I messed up in the middle, so I just put a big square of pink on it. I was like, oh, I'm going to letter something on it. And then I never did. I was like, I'm tired of looking at this. Blank page, a galaxy that I did live. And then, oh, I actually used these for my business card. Do I have my business card with me? Let me show you really quickly because I love this one. So I scanned those in and I have business cards for the Sprout Creative, but also for me as an artist in general. So I used these. I took a picture of these and put them on my business card. So that's that one. And here is practicing florals, which, yikes. Yikes. I was practicing here with some washes of color, and I didn't like that combination, and they weren't blending well, so I just left it alone. This is from yesterday. Was it yesterday? Thursday, yes. I was doing some, I was making some paints live over on the Sprout Creative, so I was swatching out the paints. And yes, I'll tell you in a second. And then we have some blank pages. This is a class, I think it was Ashley Prijol's class on negative painting, and I started it and then never finished it. Here's the picture I posted yesterday. These are my pastels. I was doing some tests on them when I was making them. So I was testing out the paints and seeing how they blended and seeing what needed to be done. So I didn't like the way the pink was coming out, so I fixed the pink, and I didn't like the way the green was coming out, so I fixed the green. So these were just test swatches for when I'm making my paints. Oh, this is what we did today. Some more florals from Vidi's class. Blank pages. Something I started and then stopped. This was for one of the challenges. And some more swatches. Oh, I really loved this one. This was one of the first pieces I did for that Tis the Season collection challenge. And I used Kim from Love Lettered, her workbook, to help me with my lettering. And this is probably the one piece that I'm like of lettering that I'm so ridiculously proud of is this one. So that's that. Kim, and I don't know what I was doing there. Um, Here's a mountain scene. I was testing some colors out and I didn't like the way those came out. Another Skillshare class I was taking on snow globes there.
Freaking snow globes.
Snow globes. A little wreath I did with my shimmers. And these are some examples that I was doing for my watercolor and ink class on Skillshare. So I love the way this one came out. I don't know what I did here. This was a mess. Wait, was this it's supposed to be like this? I don't even know. See, I have no idea. This is just a mess. Um, and my ornaments from the Southern Flair collection. So I was showing every color from the Southern Flair collection. So that's that. Can I do a class on lettering? Oh my God, my lettering is so bad.
Yeah, that's not a good
I cannot, but I can recommend some. I can recommend Kim's workbook, which has helped me so much. Kim's workbook has helped me a lot. And it's the Lettering Like a Pro series. And if anyone who is going to be purchasing our May Sprout VIP box from the Sprout Creative, there are going to be 2 of her workbooks in there, uppercase and lowercase lettering with big pens. So this is the one I'm currently working on. And this is my good sketchbook. This is the one where I'm not making any mistakes on. The other one is my practice one. This is the good one. This is the Space Chicken for the No Nonsense Doodle Club. Then, of course, my coffee cup, and the No Nonsense Doodle Club also had like a paper boat thing. So, of course, I made it against the moon because me and moons. I also started this one backwards for some reason. We did this live a couple of weeks ago, and then I did this from a picture that I saw on the internet. And that picture was just calling to me, so I just painted it. Another galaxy. Another, I don't know, galaxy with water, I guess. I have no idea. And I started working on this yesterday. I was going to do a little floral piece. This is based on Jolly Poa's class on watercolor peonies. And that's it.
Peonies.
There's peonies.
Peonies.
And again,
Did you say peonies?
I said peonies.
Oh, I thought.
And I started this one upside down as well, because that's me apparently. And I have a ton of other Blue Pine Art sketchbooks, but those I haven't started yet. I've just been working on these 2, and I've been working on well, here's my black one, and this one I just use for swatches of my shimmers, so that I can see how they look on black paper. Oh my gosh, yes, Carrie, that was antique pink. So these are the shimmers from the Tis the Season collection. And here's a landscape I did fully with shimmers. These are just all of my shimmers and more shimmers and shimmers and shimmers. And yeah, this is just, this is where I test out a lot of my shimmers to see how they look on black paper. But all of these books are from Blue Pine Arts, and they're my absolute favorite sketchbooks. So I have about 6 of them, and there are three of them that I haven't touched yet. So that's it. Someone asked about my brushes. So the 2 brushes that I'm using now are the Craftimo brushes, and these are all synthetic brushes, so none of them have animal hair. So it's the Craftimo, and then the Princeton Select, which are a beginner student brushes, and these are my favorite. I still use them. I just keep buying these over and over. I have them in every shape and size, because I love these brushes. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you. Even my crazy mixed up practice journal. But I love it. At first I was like, oh, this journal is gonna be perfect. But then I quickly realized that, it's a journal. It's made for you to experiment and have fun with. So that's that. I am also, someone suggested that I do a Flowering Moon course on Skillshare. So after I finish with the introduction to seascapes, which the last class is coming out this month, then I will do a Flowering Moon one. Yeah, Carrie, they're sold out because I buy them all. I have this thing like, oh my gosh, they're not going to be in stock when I need them, so I need them now. But it takes forever to get to me. It takes about a month to a month and a half to get here from India. So I have to buy them, just in case I run out, just in case I go on some painting frenzy.
Nope. You don't. No.
I do.
No.
So yeah, so that's that. So yeah, my next Skillshare class is going to be the last Intro to Seascapes, where we are going to put all the seascapes together, and we're going to do a couple with mountains, a couple with just the horizons and the lights and the shadows and all of that. So that class is going to be a pretty long class, because I'm going to have quite a few examples. And then after that, I'll start work on the Flowering Moons class as best as I can, because I am by far not an expert on flowers. So yeah, so that's that. If you guys don't have any other questions, then I will be signing off. And I will post the next Vanessa Paints with me on Wednesday. So if you have any suggestions, I feel like I'm running out of options. So if you have any suggestions on what you would like to paint, send me a picture of whatever it is. Just scroll through my feed and look at it. Send me a picture of whatever it is, and if enough people send me the same picture, I will put it up, and put it up for vote. So that's next week, every Friday at 3 p.m., barring any unusual circumstances. That's when it should be. Thank you, Carrie. This was actually my second palette. My first palette was a mess, and I didn't like the way it came out, but I went based on internet suggestions, because I was brand new to watercoloring with my first palette, and then I found that I didn't use any of the colors that that I put in the palette. So this is my Galaxy palette. Oh, good. Yeah, you did the water. Yeah, I really loved the water class. I felt like I put some good work on that one, and I usually don't feel 100% confident with what I put out there, but I really liked the water that I did there. Okay, that is it. I will catch you all later. Have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.